Can the European Union afford its expansion into Eastern Europe without compromising its economic stability? This is the question that's been echoing in the corridors of power across Europe and beyond. The potential inclusion of new members, such as Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia, presents a significant economic hurdle. The strain these countries could place on the EU budget is a matter of intense debate and concern. This is not just a matter of numbers on a balance sheet, it's about people's livelihoods. Take, for instance, the recent protests by Polish farmers. They represent a tangible expression of the fears that enlargement could lead to increased competition, possibly threatening their way of life. But the challenges don't stop there. Consideration must also be given to the EU's budget allocation for regional development and agriculture. The poorer candidate countries raise complex questions about affordability and economic benefits. So, as the EU contemplates its future, the question remains, how can it balance the desire for expansion with the need for economic stability? The financial implications of admitting all candidates are significant, with discussions on potential funding sources ongoing. While EU enlargement is seen by some as a security instrument, there are fears it could disadvantage existing members economically. This is the predicament that the European Union grapples with, a delicate dance of ensuring security and maintaining economic stability. A significant part of this balancing act involves the EU's budget allocation for regional development and agriculture. This budget plays a pivotal role in the overall economic health of the Union, not just for its existing members, but also for potential new entrants. By investing in these areas, the EU aims to boost the economies of its member states, allowing them to flourish within the Union. However, this budgetary consideration becomes a bit more complicated when we bring poorer candidate countries into the equation. These countries present a unique challenge due to their economic circumstances. They raise important questions about affordability and the economic benefits that they can bring to the Union. Can the EU afford to support these nations without straining its budget? And perhaps more importantly, can these nations contribute positively to the EU's economy in the long run? Let's consider Montenegro, for instance. This country, which is the furthest along in the accession process, sees EU membership as a substantial boost for its legitimacy and economic growth. By joining the EU, Montenegro hopes to attract more investments, increase its trade, and improve its citizens' living standards. But can the EU sustain this without negatively impacting its current members? These are the questions that the EU must grapple with in its expansion efforts. Each decision carries a significant weight, as it could potentially change the economic dynamics within the Union. Each new member could either strengthen the Union's economy or put a strain on it. It's a balancing act indeed, a delicate dance of ensuring security, maintaining economic stability, and fostering growth. And as with any dance, the rhythm and flow of the EU's expansion will be influenced by those who lead it. In this case, the pace and success of the accession process will be influenced by future EU parliamentary elections. This dance of diplomacy and economics continues, with the world watching closely. Ukraine's candidacy presents unique challenges due to its size, agricultural sector, and ongoing conflict. The vastness of Ukraine, coupled with its rich agricultural sector, makes its candidacy for EU membership an interesting case. The ongoing conflict with Russia further complicates this. The country's size and agricultural potential could offer significant opportunities for the EU. However, the ongoing conflict with Russia is a massive hurdle, creating instability and uncertainty that could impact the EU's finances and market dynamics. The Russian invasion has drawn attention to the economic challenges of EU expansion into Eastern Europe, with Ukraine's situation at the forefront of these discussions. Ukraine's candidacy also raises questions about the EU's budget allocation for regional development and agriculture. With Ukraine being one of the poorer candidate countries, concerns about affordability and economic benefits are inevitable. The strain that new members like Ukraine would place on the EU budget is a significant issue that needs to be addressed. Furthermore, the EU's dependency on Russian energy complicates the situation. With Germany already seeking alternative energy sources due to Russia's gas cutoff, the EU has to consider the potential economic implications of admitting Ukraine while dealing with the energy crisis. The situation in Ukraine has reached a critical point, with Western powers divided on how to respond to the Russian military escalation. While some see EU enlargement as a security instrument, there are fears that it could disadvantage existing members economically. The pace and success of the accession process will be influenced by future EU parliamentary elections and the evolving geopolitical landscape. The financial implications of admitting Ukraine are significant, and the discussions on potential funding sources are ongoing. The unique case of Ukraine underscores the intricate balance that the EU must strike between expansion, economic stability, and geopolitical considerations. As the story unfolds, the world watches, waiting to see how this delicate dance plays out. The economic hurdles of EU expansion into Eastern Europe are not merely a matter of numbers and budgets. They encompass a complex web of potential impacts spanning economic, social, and political spheres that reach far beyond the borders of the European Union. The inclusion of new member states such as Ukraine, Moldova, and Georgia would undoubtedly place a strain on the EU's budget. Yet it's essential to remember that these expansions are not solely about economics. They're also about extending the shared values of democracy, human rights, and the rule of law. Moreover, the impact of these expansions would resonate beyond the EU's borders, influencing the broader economic landscape of Eastern Europe. These countries could see an increase in foreign direct investment, improved trade relations, and enhanced economic stability, all of which could stimulate growth and development. However, these expansions also present unique challenges. For instance, Ukraine's candidacy, given its size, agricultural sector, and ongoing conflict, could have significant implications for the EU's finances and market dynamics. In navigating these hurdles, the EU must strike a delicate balance between its economic interests and its commitment to promoting peace, stability, and prosperity in Eastern Europe. The decisions made today will not only determine the future of the EU, but also shape the economic landscape of Eastern Europe.